Okay, this is Steve coming at you. I'm going to do a short video about the 9, kind of like the Supreme Court 9. These are 9 vessels that we're going after that will build the fleet into a powerhouse that can acquire the larger vessels, the big ELMAs we call them, and those are large 100-plus foot, even 150-plus foot vessels, islands, equestrian ranches, and other structures that we're planning a little bit down the road, a few months down the road. These are going to come together quickly, but we need some smaller baseline or foundational vessels in order to make the big ones happen this quickly. So this is just a little quick rundown. There are pictures, sometimes videos of more detail about these vessels, but I just wanted to introduce each one of them to you and give you a real quick idea of why they're in this first 9. Now, the first one is a 37-foot ferro cement hull tug that's all set up for cruise. It's inexpensive. It's built like a tank because it's built commercially, but it's got all the cruising amenities. So it's kind of a working man's cruising vessel, and it's diesel, and it's just a really good value without being really super flashy. But it's also got an appeal to it because it's a tug. Now, the second one's also a tug. You're going to see lots of tugs in this over the months and years. So we're kind of starting out with a tug because we're trying to tow people into this. Tilt or withdraw. You'll see the tilt or withdraw video. So the second one, actually I have a name for that. It's called Tuggy. And it's a known vessel that's done work on the Sound here in Puget Sound for a very long time, since I think it's 1928. And it's a woody. It has a keel cooler, meaning none of the coolant gets inside the vessel. It's all done at the keel level and cools the engine from below the boat in the keel. And it's a 45-footer, and it's got a great big huge diesel, and it'll tow anything. I think it's towed 200-foot log barges for a long time, half a century. And then the third one is the Queen of Sheba, and that's a 104-footer. That's in need of assistance, mostly on the exterior, but there's a lot of history. There's John Wayne involved in that boat. I won't go into that. There's another video on that. But that's a 3-deck, maybe 3,000 square foot, twin 500-horse Cleveland diesel engine luxury yacht that needs assistance, mostly just cosmetic, mostly topside, nothing we can't handle, nothing that'll cost very much. And that's the Queen of Sheba. And then the fourth one in this first group of 4, and then I'll have 5 more, but these are all power, is we call it the Norwegian Wood. Now, it's a 67-foot North Sea trawler with famous people involved over many years. It's a 40-year-old, something like that vessel, and it's been here in the Puget Sound pretty much the whole time. And it's, again, an awful lot of boat for the money. And we're trying to maximize the marketing power by virtue of the history. You'll see that theme in this, and also how much boat you get for how little dollar value, because we're trying to do what I call yacht cloning, where a vessel, within a few days, it generates enough money on the internet from the sale of digital franchises that we don't have to pay back, and it makes a copy of itself. Not technically, but it produces enough results that we can buy another boat with the results from its marketing power. And then the fleet expands rapidly when you have that kind of viral process at work. And then the fifth one is a Kettenberg. It's a 40-footer. It's a wood boat. Again, a lot of history and ties to my past San Diego. That's where Kettenbergs were built. There's a loyal group of people that own Kettenbergs. It's a sailboat. It's just a really cool vessel. You see pictures of it. And then there's a 65-foot ketch that's here in the Sound. These are pretty much all Puget Sound vessels in this lineup. And that's a 65-footer. Again, it's an older one, and it's all fixed up. It's a wood hull. A lot of these are wood hulls or ferro cement or steel. Not a lot of fiberglass. We'll occasionally have a fiberglass. We're not afraid of fiberglass. What we end up getting more for our money, and we end up oftentimes with more history and more marketing prowess out of an unusual hull material like wood or ferro cement or steel or even iron. There's likely to become an iron hull, which is really old. And then the next one is a 78-foot Trumpy. It's a kind of an old rum runner. It's, again, old 1920s, something like that. It's a different era. A lot of these are from a different era, and they're kind of neglected. This is part of our NRG, or Nautical Relic Guardianship, that's also at work here, where lots of things happen for assets that are on the land. They get a facade donated. There's tax write-offs. There's foundations. There's a group. There's people who raise money for buildings that are historic and important, and they get made into museums. But the boats just sink, and we're kind of trying to help the environment by rescuing these and putting them to work for oceans, and also giving people a whale of a good time aboard them, because these are a blast to be on if they're fixed up. And if we've got a nonprofit, we're going to get materials donated, we're going to get people donating their time, but not donating in exchange for digital franchises that really make a good deal for somebody that would like to kind of put the work in, sweat equity, if you will, into a digital franchise instead of putting hard-earned money up, with a lot of people have trouble putting together. But they can come out on a weekend, or they can come to Puget Sound for a week and enjoy the boats that are fixed up and work on the boats that aren't, and a little bit of yard work, and yard meaning in the boatyard, and learning. The kids learn, the adults learn, you polish and otherwise get the rust out of old skills if you haven't done work on a boat for a while, and everybody has a whole bunch of fun, and everybody eats well, and everybody gets to know each other, and you learn other things besides just the boats while you're here. And it's really a powerful process of bringing these old boats back to life and putting them to work for important agendas like saving oceans and land habitat. And then the eighth one is the reality, and that's a 60-foot wood, again, catch that's down in Oregon. Already have lined up someone here on the Sound who actually took it down there to Oregon. It was up here only a year or so ago. I have pictures of it actually from my old marina, and a really good price again. It's all fixed up. It's great shape. All these boats, the hulls are in great shape. They've been cared for, maintained, and that's important when you have these older materials, because it can get dicey if you have to just practically replace the whole hull. You don't want to do that, and none of these are that, really. There's mechanical issues with some of them. There are cosmetic issues, but those are all fixable quickly and inexpensively, even almost for free. Just sweat equity or elbow grease, and then we're off making hay for the oceans and the whales and the krill and the coral reefs and the critters of the land with these vessels. And then the last one is kind of a big name vessel. I won't mention it, but it's a staysail schooner. It's an 86-footer, and it's right here locally, and it's on the high end of the pricing of this. So it's kind of the next step up towards the large vessels that I talk about in other videos. But those are the 9, and they're going to pull an awful lot. They're going to pull this whole thing together, literally. I mean, these 9 are going to lift this thing into, the Supreme Court, the 9 of the Supreme Court. That's what these vessels are designed to represent. And there's a whole bunch more vessels besides just the big ones that you see, the ferries and the NOAA vessels and so forth, that are in between these and the big ones and the big islands. But this is what's going to get us to the next phase, where it's going to take a little bit more money to get those 100-plus footers into the group, but these will bring them in quickly, and then those will buy the biggest ones. That's kind of the step of the process. And I'll write all this out in documents and show you still pictures and link you to videos, but this is just the opening sort of intro to what these 9 are. We're not necessarily going to get all these. If one of these gets taken out from under this, we'll replace it with another one. There's a lot of these out there. These are just ones that I've worked really hard to get to the point where the tribe pays as little as possible for as much marketing prowess in a vessel as it can, with as little effort to make it fixed up. Some need more work than others. Some are ready to go right now. I mean, literally, we could drive them off the lot, drive them off the mooring buoy, and off to work they go. And that's going to make a big, huge, fast impact. Money follows speed, and this is going to happen fast. These positions, as these boats start to magically reappear every day or so, and that's my day-o, a yacht, one yacht a day. Day-o backwards is one yacht a day. That's what this is designed to do, is 9 of these in 9 days, or 18 or 15 days. It's not going to happen it's just going to go quick, and people aren't going to, what? You went from 0 to 9? Yeah, yeah, that's right. So